Faith to me is this very childlike attribute. But when we talk about faith, I feel like we attribute it to giants and people who are larger than life. But faith to me is this like reliance that is like a little kid.
Yeah.
Like it is just like, it's imagination that only little kids have. And like the adults will be like, well, how do you know? And you're like, because I said so.
Praise God. Hallelujah. First of all, giving glory to God, who's the head of my life. No, seriously. Y'all, you listen, you know what it is. We slated. This is the Gender Amplified podcast. Welcome back. We have another episode. We have our illustrious guest here today, Amber Robinson and Dani De Boulay. And we're going to have a very enriched conversation about faith, about music, and about all the things that allow us to stick to our dreams, specifically this crazy little dream of, I don't know, making it in music and culture. For those who don't know, Gender Amplified is a nonprofit organization that supports the advancement of women and gender expansive music producers and audio engineers. Check us out at genderamplified.org. And welcome to our podcast, Sticky. All right, so let's get into it. I know you, and I just met you, so we're gonna get into this. So, Amber, your introduction is that you started off in the church.
Oh yeah.
And you made your way in the music business, having an opportunity to work with so many different artists as a piano player, as a music producer, and now at the Thorne School at USC, where you are a division manager of their music department. And you've done so many things in your life, and you're finding yourself now in education, but also continuing to work as a working musician. And kind of living this life of education and also balancing being an artist. So we're going to get into all of that, as well as just all of your accomplishments. Dani, welcome to the show. And I'm going to let y'all kind of do your own bios too, but we just met, and one of the things that I love about you and your collaboration with Amber is that y'all are kind of working at the intersection of community building and community organizing. Yep. You have started a songwriting camp initiative, which is, you know, what makes you so perfect for this show, because we also run songwriting camps. And your camp series that you started in LA is called KAISO.
Yes.
So you're going to tell us what that means and a little bit more about what your organization is doing from a grassroots perspective and how folks who are watching this podcast can potentially get involved.
Yeah.
And I also need to get your music origin story. So let's start with origin stories. So Amber, I know a little bit, but tell the podcast how you got started with music and what has kept you sticking to it all these years. And I will then pose the same question to you.
Well, hello, Ebonie. It is an honor to be here, and I don't say that lightly. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, by way of Altamont Springs, Florida, a small suburb in Central Florida, where my family was born and raised. My father and mother come from a very historic city there called Eatonville, Florida, so that's kind of where my blood runs through. Poets and artists such as Zora Neale Hurston. That's kind of my lineage there in Central Florida. And that was my roots. My father was a musician, is a musician for many, many, many years, in and out of church, much like I do today. And we'll talk more about that later. But I kind of grew up, it kind of came through the womb. My mom often jokes about how I was in the womb. I would kind of kick whenever there was music playing, just in the house or whatever. Oddly enough, that was my first instrument, my primary instrument, playing the drums up in church from like the age of 3 and on through my adolescence. Really my formidable music years, a lot of that outside of the classical context, coming through concert bands and ensembles and symphonies and drumline was the church. It was the first place where I learned how to clap on 2 and 4. Very important, as I've come to learn. It's a place where I learned how to listen and communicate in the musical context, and how to also in the spiritual realm be able to tap into my music as a gift to heal. So that's what I try to keep at the forefront in every room that I step in and every production that I do, every song that I play. that's kind of what drives that. From then, I went to the University of North Florida to study music production and technology, which at the time was one of their flagship programs. I was simultaneously playing Division I basketball. Crazy journey with that. I was one of the only athletes to come through that university to have been a music major. Again, a little bit more about that. It was just a very, very telling season in my life and trying to figure out, again, how to navigate expectation versus what I knew my calling and career to be. It's not often that you hear of student athletes pursuing a musical career, but I was blessed to have support, even in and outside of the university there, to train me. And from there, graduating, I came back to Orlando, Florida, met up with a former referee who I grew up being refed by. I hated her. Rika, I love you, but I hated you and your wife, who were two of the craziest refs that I ever had playing basketball. But it's honestly a testament to also learning how to treat people and how to handle situations. Because if I would have been acting crazy back in those high school years, we probably wouldn't have the working relationship that we have now. She's a mentor of mine in the musical context. She gave me an opportunity to go on tour to Italy post-graduation and to serve and represent in the bands there. And from there, just took off. I can talk about this all day, but truly aligning my faith and spirituality through the background that I came up in, and never forgetting that in every room has been really just a catalyst.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I mean, your journey is really one of just following talent and following one door that's opening that can open to another door. Because the great thing about coming up in sports is it opens so many doors. It takes you out of your comfort zone in so many ways and introduces you to so many new people. And you can revolve out of that sports door, because even when you do extremely well, you got a limited window. You have a very limited window. What's going to be the rest of your life? I mean, sports, you can, if you're lucky, you get to play for until you're 38, 39. There's still so much life, so people tend to use sports as a conduit to other things. And it sounds like you did that. And absolutely, you found your way back to referees that still were making calls for you. Seriously. So that's pretty incredible. So Dani, I want to ask you the same story, a musical origin story, which might be later on in life for you, as someone who's not a practitioner, but tell us how music came into your life.
Well, for me, actually, it has been my whole life. My dad actually was a DJ in Trinidad. So my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago, immigrants. And music was a huge part of our family, and grew up in the church. My dad's a minister as well. So I grew up actually leading worship, and to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to study it for school. So I went to college, Florida. I feel like we secretly probably crossed paths and didn't even know it. I wouldn't doubt that. But I went to Southeastern University and went to the likes with really big folks, and ended up leading worship and getting on ended up writing songs on SU Worship's first album, just accidentally. I've always thought myself as more of a poet and a writer who just played music. Those were two separate things. And one time I was sitting at, I was just tinkering around on the piano. We were on tour with SU Worship because I could harmonize really well and lead worship. And the director was like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Something I'm fooling around with." And he was like, "Play it again." And I'm like, "No, please don't make me do this." And he's like, "That's going to be on the album." And I'm like, "Wait, our school's worship album?" He's like, "Yeah, it's going to be on the album." And my song was on the school's first worship album. And it was just weird how something from my quiet time with God ended up being on just accidentally. And I like the book of Psalms was always my favorite book of the Bible, because what people really don't know is that, like, if you really read the book of Psalms, those people, you might think like they're bipolar. You might think they have mental disorders.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Because they really wrestled with their most deep emotions. And as a kid, I felt like I was like, I'm a psalmist. And like, I would always like read a psalm and try to like write a poem that was like that. I was always like the angsty emo girl, or even like resonate with just like, you know, as like the Black girl who's like, this country song's pretty cool. Like, you know, because I just felt like the songs that really had like the emotions, I was always connected to the words. That was what it was for me. So to have that moment where like the two worlds collided was really, really cool.
I love that.
So I was like, you know what, let me dabble in this. And I had a moment to play around with it even more, to the point where I switched my degree and I was like, okay, I'm going to study music business management. And I did an internship in Nashville and toured even more. And at the end of that internship, they sat me down and they were like, okay, you're good as a performer, but you're not that good. So you'd have to rely a little bit more on your looks. And I'm like,
audacity.
I mean, you know, a woman in the business, it's kind of real, you know, and this is, you know, that's like 10 plus years ago. So, all right. So I was like, I don't know if I want to live that life. Like, I don't know if I want to do it. So I decided like, I'm not going to do that. So I pursued something else, went down like study. I went to NYU and I studied public and nonprofit management and policy in Columbia. And I was like, I'm going to be like the next Secretary of Education and like pursue that instead. And then I did that and did like nonprofit management, still within like church and ministry. But even when I was in church and ministry, I ended up leading the creative department and becoming the creative director. And still had the ability to manage like creative stuff and still lead worship. Like I was still doing it. I found my way like still around it. And I did find my way within that journey to find my like get a little hurt within the church. And like in 2020, I found myself deconstructing from my faith, and deconstructing from like everything. And I know when people think of the word deconstructing, they only think of like faith. But for me, I had to figure out like, what do I believe, period? Because like faith was really all I knew. So that helped me like deconstruct even like the concept of creativity or music and everything. So when I moved here from New York to LA, like even the concept of community, which is why like Daniel, my brother, and we sat down on the, like in his living room floor, and he was like, I just want to make music. And he's like, I just feel like the way that the music industry is, it's just so terrible. And it feels evil. Like I feel like people exploit artists, like the way that
it's not just a feeling. Let me stop. That's not this type of podcast.
I mean, it's facts and it's exploitative. And I feel like even the way that I sat down, like I was basically told factually, for you to be anything, for you to like thrive in the music industry,
and use your looks.
You got to use your looks, sell your body to a certain extent. You can't just be like a normal human living. So I was like, yeah, like how could we make this somehow work? And we sat down and we thought about like KAISO actually means to go forward. And it's this concept of the game limbo. Like everyone's coming around you. And even though that like bar is going lower and lower and lower, people are still chanting around you, like go forward, go forward. And that's the concept that like, even in this industry where it does feel like impossible to thrive in the music industry, it feels like everything is working against you to thrive in this industry. But I think as a community, we can come together in the concept of a workshop and inspire each other to like, no, that thought that you have, that's not a stupid idea. let's kind of run with that. Can you sing that again? Like, because maybe in your room by yourself, you sang it and you're like, that was stupid. But like someone else can pick up on it and be like, sing that again. I actually think that was really great. Like sing it again and again. And then like it becomes something. How many times has that happened
All the time.
at a camp where someone...
All the time.
You know, having those affirming spaces, I think that's so important, especially within the context of creative community, because so much of great artistic output is the result of people feeling safe. Safe to share, especially because I think when it comes to musical ideas, those are a lot of times the most vulnerable ideas we have. But I want to talk a little bit. You've said so much that I wanted to comment on, and I think the challenge of this podcast is always like making mental footnotes so I know where to jump back to. But I love the idea of you having this journey with faith that you could not seem to wrestle away from, even in spite of being told negative things, in spite of hitting obstacles in your path, you still found your way back to some form of creativity and ultimately back to music. And I'd also like to comment on KAISO and like the foundational impulse there, which was, first of all, you sitting with your brother. You both have the same upbringing, which is a spiritual upbringing. And you instinctively and fundamentally are thinking to yourselves, there's something incongruous about how this business functions. And then the Psalms, which I love to make this connection because this idea that the music business is like has a demonic energy. People say this all the time, right? It's just a thought or a feeling, but we don't tend to look back to the history of the music business, which started with publishing industry, printing music, Christian music, hymns a lot of times interpretations of Psalms. Right. So that was the foundation of the business. And we've gotten to this place now where we've extracted those foundational principles, like the idea of the disseminating of the good word, an affirming word to people, using a music as a vehicle to do so. We've gotten away from that as a foundation for the business. And what has replaced that is this hyper focus on the acquisition of intellectual property rights for the exploitation in the marketplace and for the commercial value of those intellectual property rights, irrespective of what the underlying word is.
Right.
Typically don't care what's being said in the songs as long as they sell. And so I like to think that when we look at the business inability to protect itself, a lot of times that has to do, in my personal opinion, a lot of times that has to do with the fact that the music isn't being protected in the first place. The intellectual property is being considered more than the actual underlying artwork or music.
Right.
So that will always make an industry vulnerable because there's no real value for the actual underlying copyright itself. Right. Like the word, if you will. But like your organization is looking to change that. Like it's completely like saying, okay, let's rethink and reframe how we're thinking about music as a cultural practice and a community practice. All right, I got a question. So y'all both come from the church. How does your faith impact your art today? And we've had this conversation low key,
Danny? I can go. I think faith for me, I'm receiving a better revelation of it as an action now. And that's how I know it's on track. I think I was unpacking a lot of beliefs and belief systems that may have worked for a certain period of time, maybe based on survival, so many other social constructs and contexts as, African Americans who come through the church. There's a beautiful documentary also that I love talking about this, The Black Church, and Dr. Henry Louis Gates. But it talks about, again, just unpacking and rethinking your belief systems. And so now faith looks more like, what's something that I can do that's scary, but I know that God put a gift in my hands to use. That's what faith is. Just taking the step to do something that is outside of my comfort zone and applying the principles of love to that and letting that be the driving motivator. That's what faith looks like to me now. I haven't so much subscribed it to a being, a deity. I think God, if you were talking about God, concept of God is too big to put gender or pronoun to. God really is the guiding voice to make sure that you're making pure decisions out of love that are rooted in care for yourself, care for others, and care for the gift that's in your hands. That's what that looks
I love
like.
that. So it's more taking on a universal framework for you, universal framework that is about seeking love, giving love, and receiving love.
And for me, that just happens to be through Christ Jesus. But for so many others, whatever that context is, if that's what you receive, I believe that's what it's for you. Yeah.
I love that. So Christianity is still critical to your walk, but you are...
I'm a church baby.
Yeah, I mean...
I'll never not be a church baby, but my relationship and my conversations with God look more like what we're having right now versus, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I sin. I don't keep a sin tracker. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's
and he paid it all.
And he paid... Almost ran.
So, I mean...
Hey, what a organ. He paid it all. Paid it all so I could be free to listen to the spirit, the pure spirit that lives inside of me. Facts. But that's the faith.
All right, so I will pose the same question to you. How does it show up in your creativity and your life today?
Creativity and life, in everything I do. For real. Like when I wake up, I really try my best to just glorify God in everything that I do. I call myself a Christian. There was a moment where I did say I want nothing to do with God. He does not exist for almost 2 years. And that's when I said I deconstructed away. And now I say that I'm like deconstructing my faith so that I can reconstruct it now, because there were so many harmful things within what I was taught, like the prosperity gospel, even just like shameful things around just the weird weight that I had around like sin and guilt and shame. That made it really hard for me to have a relationship with God and a relationship with myself. So and even community, it was like really hard for me to be vulnerable with people. I had really bizarre concepts about marriage before. And I'm engaged now. And there's a lot of things that I'm unlearning that were just unhealthy. Like I had bizarre concepts about friendship, about self-love, things that I'm unlearning. And even perfectionism that,
that's a big one.
Things that, no longer show up in my creativity. So I welcome mistakes. And I think welcoming mistakes, like, okay, by no means am I a spoken word poet. By no means. That is not a lane that I'm trying to enter, y'all. But I decided to do, for fun, to just recite one of my, like, Psalms that I had written. Because for fun, I was like, I want to write like the Psalms. Like I want to like just experiment. We were reading a book together in our book club.
And we have a book club.
Oh, I love a book club. I want to be in a book club. What was the book club about?
We just be reading.
Black authors all year.
Oh, y'all got a 2-person book club. Oh, got it.
No, there's 4 of us.
Okay, a 4-woman book club.
Wait,
It's 5 now. No, I'm joking.
5 of us.
I mean, if y'all want to invite me, it's fine.
5.
No, we actually have 5 of us in this.
It's giving 6.
Yeah, it's giving 6.
It's giving. Invite. Oh my God, I love a good book.
We were thinking The
reading a
Alchemist
book right now.
The Alchemist too.
Yeah.
We just finished.
Oh, I love that book.
Black.
Yes.
That was a great book.
I love The Alchemist. That's a good one.
We are on The World Needs Your Art, or We Need Your Art.
We Need Your Art.
By Amy McNee.
I don't know that.
It's like stop messing around and make something.
Make something.
Oh man.
Deliverance.
Yes. Indeed. Yes. So basically,
stop goofing around. Get serious. Get serious.
That's basically what she's saying. She's like, oh, you
Stop
think
being
the
perfectionist.
market is saturated with your work? She's like, do you know how many brands of cereal there are?
That are
Oh my God, do not get me
Crunch, by the way.
on. Don't get me
that.
on Coca-Cola analogies. Shelf
Isn't that the
product analogies.
She goes, but they're
Shelf
still out
product.
there doing it. And she was like, you have no excuse. Like, she just gives these really great analogies. So there's a lot of things that, like, I'm just saying, like, I'm deconstructing so many things, but that's how I'm showing up. I feel like my faith jump-started, like, deconstructing my faith jump-started like me deconstructing everything. So I'm now experimenting with literally everything. So I just decided, like, I'm just gonna go to random like poetry functions and secretly tell no one that I'm doing these poetry things for fun, just so I could hear what my poetry sounds like for fun.
So the faith to step out.
Yes.
Yeah, the faith to do something new.
Yeah.
I think I'm in a similar season. I'm definitely in the season of just do that. And I think it definitely does bode well for my music, because it's like I take the same attitude into what I'm creating. Like,
Yes.
just do that. I don't know. Like, oh, but it's not like what I typically make. All right, well, whatever. Like, just try it and see.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the faith to begin again, the faith to try something and step outside of the box.
Yes. I don't think it's by accident that Jesus compared, like, when he talked about faith, he always talked about children.
All the time.
Yep.
Because faith to me is this very childlike attribute. But when we talk about faith, I feel like we attribute it to giants and people who are larger than life. But faith to me is this like reliance that is like a little kid.
Yeah.
Like, it is just like, it's imagination that only little kids have. And like the adults will be like, well, how do you know? And you're like, because I said so. Like,
It's
because I can.
Right.
I was in the last conversation I had on the show, I said that, like, our senses are so finite. We really can't see very much of what is possible to see. Of all the frequencies out there, we can only see so many. And it really is a slither of the possible ones that could be viewed. And the same is true for every sensory organ that we have that can take measurement of atmosphere. The skin, the nose, the eyes, they also have such finite capability. And so the fact that we exist is all on faith. Faith is perception.
Right.
It's our belief in what we can visibly, our faith is in perception. Let me say it a different way. Our faith usually is in the things that we can perceive.
Right.
But faith is so much larger than that in essence, right? It is the belief in the unseen.
Yeah.
But it's rare that we can actually have that type of faith that extends it. But the children have imaginary friends.
Yep.
Children start walking because they just have the faith that something will catch them. If they take a step, they have no reason to believe that they can stand and they can support it. They just began to flourish with no fear. They will touch a burning stove. They really don't have, their senses are still developing. So they have not come into the awareness of their limitations as of yet.
Yeah.
Right.
But when we become adults, like, we lose so much of that. really it's imagination, really. Like to just believe. I mean, when I was younger, my imaginary friends were Salt and Pepper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was on tour with them. Like I was a fourth member. It was me, Salt, Spinderella, and Pep. You know, so but that was really real to me. Like I was really like the fourth member of Salt and Pepper. We had matching outfits. Like we were imaginary friends. I sing all the songs, and you know, and I think that really made sense to me though. Like as a kid, I don't know why it is that we don't retain so much of that as we age. I don't know why exactly.
We lose it.
I feel like also you might find yourself, and that's just me speaking for me, find yourself adopting other people's projections.
Oh, facts. Yeah, that's for sure.
Who you admire and respect, who may even be in the same industry as you, and you value their opinion on so many other things. And so you find yourself having to, as you mature and grow, and the knowledge of what it is that God has placed on the inside of you, or God placed on the inside of me. It's like, I really that's my OG. I love you so much, but I don't agree that this is my reality. I thank you for sharing your story, and there's room and space for you to continue to share that, but that's not something that rings true for me. I can't allow that to limiting belief to, hinder me. That's been a very difficult navigation for me, even moving out here. From Orlando, 2.5 years ago? I've been out here 2.5 years. Just hit the ground running. But it's the small voices in my head aren't necessarily even what I would consider the devil or the enemy. It's just like unnecessary weight.
Yeah.
Of expectation, unnecessary opinions in your feed, on your timeline, and your algorithm. It's like you're refreshing and your algorithm, so to say, about what others who could probably very much care about you and your livelihood have to say versus what God is trying to get you to download.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's really important, especially as musicians, to clear the noise.
Yeah.
Like
to make room for sound.
Yes. Because I think it's very, like, what are you tuning into? And the discernment of, that's just, right now I'm in a season of, that's the phrase that I'm holding on to right now, is like clear the noise, clear the noise. Because I am very sensitive to exactly what Amber was speaking to. I'm very sensitive to like the projections. And so I have to be active on like, nope, I got to bounce it back. And I think as creatives, artists, musicians, we're supposed to be sensitive. Like we're designed to be sensitive. And so with that comes the responsibility to also discern what you're not supposed to be absorbing. And that, like, you learn that, I think, the older you get. It's like, all right, what do I have to hold on to so that I can, like, retain that childlike wonder to protect yourself? Because when, like, I went to a concert and I met this artist. I can name drop here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
It's a safe space.
Okay, great. I met John Batiste. Oh my God, yes, girl. I met John Batiste.
Right now. Love you, John.
Yes. My cousin-in-law, my fiance's cousin, Des Washington. Hey, girl. She's a phenomenal singer, and she's one of his singers, and had a chance to introduce myself to him. And he's just like a child at heart. And I feel like it's because he loves himself enough and probably has guarded himself. You can sense that he like probably is like, nope, I'm tuning out the noise of what doesn't serve me and receiving only love. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that we can learn, is what to accept and what to not accept, so we can remain sensitive. For sure.
I love that. I love the idea of protection. In fact, there was a scripture that I read this morning. Let me see if I can quickly find it.
Feed us the word.
It's in Luke. Wait a minute, hold up.
We're in Luke at my church right now too.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. it was Luke, because I don't want to butcher it. Luke 11, I think. I'm going to find it. Wait a minute.
Luke.
I think it was Luke.
Okay, 11. We're pulling out our Bible apps.
Okay, so no one lights a lamp and puts it in place where it will be hidden or under a bowl. Instead, they put it in its stand so that those who can come in may see the light. Your eye is the lamp of your body. When your eyes are healthy, your whole body also is full of light. But when they are unhealthy, your body also is full of darkness. I was like, you know, it's really that simple. It's like the simplicity of it. And this is ancient writings
wisdom
attributed to the cultural figure that we know as Jesus Christ. We know that person is Savior because we've accepted him in our lives as such. But the truth of the matter is that's a universal principle. You don't have to be a Christian and have for that to just be common sense. Right. Your eye is the light of the body.
Yeah.
It's literally our flashlight into the atmosphere. So guarding the eyes, like there's just certain things I just don't do before 12 or 10 a.m. I'm up in the morning, 4:30. I do not go on socials before I do workouts, before I feed myself. I don't go on anybody's email before a certain hour. I just don't. That's not what my eyes should be doing.
Wow.
Right.
You know, at a certain time, there's a window for those things because it's my estimation that what I intake, what I consume, what my diet is, essentially is not just what I eat. It's anything that I can consume. And I can't just get up in the morning and consume everybody else's identity, everybody else's life, everybody else's circumstances in these little bite-sized increments that amount to dopamine spikes.
Yeah.
I just can't do that to my neurological system. My brain is not really designed for that. Now, as a form of entertainment, I can have very specific moments where because I'm active on social media, but that is an activity that I approach like a bit of a part-time job.
Right.
It's not entertainment. It's not fodder. Like it's, so because I'm protecting, to use your language, guard the eyes. If you don't guard anything else, like for my well-being.
Right.
Right. Because it's not really, I think it's quite abnormal. And there's a word I'm looking for that I can't find. But I'll go with abnormal. For people to have an insight or an eye into everybody's lives.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with their own.
Yeah.
It is a distortion of reality. It produces a distortion of reality that can be quite problematic on the body.
Yes.
And we see the manifestations of that trauma through how people treat their bodies as a result. And even just the fatigue. Just the fatigue of the eyes, the fatigue of the brain, just the fatigue that people feel from looking constantly into the lives of other people when our eyes are to be protected and guarded,
For sure. That is spot on.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be talking to y'all,
In
though.
the history of the world, have we had this much access to other people's?
It's a bit, that's why I say it's like
minds
abnormal.
So quickly.
And it produces neurosis because it's abnormal. It's not really, the body is not designed for that.
No.
It's not designed for so much facsimile. And what I mean by facsimile is a copying of digital, the copying of realities in digital formats and then the transmission, the constant transmission. Our eyes are really not designed for that. I don't think our beings are really designed for that. But yet, I also respect the technology, which kind of leaves me, I'm sitting with an educator,
I'm not faculty. I work as staff, but I do.
You were
give
educated.
nuggets.
You educate the people.
I do it.
And both of you very well educated. You know, NYU, Columbia University, and I want to talk a little bit about technology, how that factors into your creativity, thoughts on artificial intelligence. If you'd want to go there,
We should.
generative AI, music. If you want to go there,
We should.
up to you. Optional. Extra
Oh,
credit.
are you gonna talk about your song? You wrote that song, the breakup song.
Oh yeah, I wrote a
Breakfast
random breakup. Like, was it a country joint? I wrote a random breakup song on Suno just as a fun, creative outlet, and sent it to the book club. And they're like, "Yo,
It's fire.
it's actually freaking hilarious. Are you gonna do something?" I was like, "No," but it was just a fun moment. But at large, this is my position on AI. I view it as a tool.
Yeah.
I view it as a tool to help creatives get their rough idea, raw ideas, childlike thoughts out quickly and efficiently. And from there, it could jumpstart a myriad of things, be it just an exercise in creativity, be it a demo that they want to send to a group they want to have record over top of it. Me personally, I don't feel led to use generative AI just as a raw input and output of sorts and then just put that up. I think there's a little bit more work that needs to be done if you're working with AI, but that's just how I view it. I view it as a tool. It's nothing to be afraid of. I feel like every 10 to 20 years, a piece of technology or a paradigm of technology comes out and everybody goes up in rapture mode and they lose their minds and the debates. Meanwhile, I'm just like, okay, for those who project issues of AI, I'm like, okay, well, where's the work that you're putting out that's not AI? Like, you're having a lot of conversations that are taking away from the thing that you say that you want to do.
Yikes.
So it's cool to have a position on it, but don't sit in the opinions of other people that are constantly being fed to us on, again, social media, these paradigms that people are telling you there's one way to be able to create. No. Is the AI helping you tell the truth about what it is your message is and the art that you're making? If it is, go with that. Go with God.
Go with God. I love that. That's a great position. And I think that's kind of my position. It's like, to your point, there's always a disruptive piece of technology that's supposed to rapture us all. Yeah. And it ends up being fine, or maybe not fine, but things end up, working themselves out in a way.
I ain't gonna say no name, but there was an app where people, I think it was around the time of COVID, where producers could upload beats. People could record themselves, like doing remixes over them. Turned out to not necessarily be the best platform for creatives and the protection of the rights. So it went away. But it's like, don't be afraid of it. See it as a tool. If it makes sense in your toolbox to use it. If it doesn't, don't abuse it. And just be transparent about your process.
Use, don't abuse, be transparent about your process. I love that. What are your thoughts? I give you the final word on it.
I think it's helpful. I think that a lot of times people think that AI is going to replace humans, and I just think that's impossible.
That's crazy.
I don't think AI is going to replace humans. I think humans who know how to use AI will replace humans who don't know how to use it.
Ooh. Wait, that's a word, child. Put it on a t-shirt. Like, that is a word.
So,
ooh, you just did that, girl.
I don't think,
good.
So I just think that, like, people need to get with it. Like, you can always tell if something, there's probably, you can always tell if there's like 6 fingers on something or something like that. But,
Or can you? I'm sure.
They be debating about that on the Facebook comments, but like, girl, you know that's not.
You can
President
always
Obama sitting there with with 6
we can
fingers.
tell.
That's AI. Relax.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like the human brain can tell now when something is like, that feels a little off, you know, we can tell. Even when it comes to like words, like I know right now, I love using the M dash and it just breaks my heart now.
What is the M dash?
ChatGPT apparently uses the M dash. It's like the long line for the dramatic effect.
Yes, I see.
And writers are saying like, no, actual writers use the M dash. And this whole thing, but that's hilarious. Yes. But it'll just never replace a human. You can tell good writing, and also good writing is personal. It's a personal story. Like you can never put my personal story in ChatGPT. Like you can't do that. Like how can you put my emotion? How can you put you can never do that.
Right. I don't know. My girl Chat seemed like she done been through some things.
You can talk to her now?
She been around.
But you still have to do the work. I'm always like, girl,
Chat, how do you know everything?
It's not of it. But you see, like, you still have to, okay. So even so, I still had to take a course to learn how to train ChatGPT to still talk like me and curate like me.
Very fast.
You know what I mean? I still had to like take a course to say like, okay, well, this is how you talk and this is how you do it. So now you got to feed it and now you got to feed these emotions and now you have to do that. And then I still now have to go through and be like, it still doesn't sound like me. I still wouldn't say, and I have to comb through. Like,
it worked.
That's still a human.
It still work. It still work. It still work. No.
And at the end of the day, I'm like, maybe I should have just done this myself.
you still got to work, and you still got to be good at stuff too. Correct. Like like even it still matters, and I know you can attest to this. It still matters when you can play an instrument. I don't care. It's helpful. It's like, wow, like I know theory, so I can talk to the sono
right
in language that is exact.
Yep.
And I can get very specific things out. I know I need this to be a pentatonic blues scale. Right. I need this to be a Dorian, and put it here and modulate there and do it.
Yeah.
And not because I can't do it, just because I need it done in 5 minutes.
Right. Even with the auto-tune, like it's not always right. You have to go back in.
I love that you brought up. I love that you brought up auto-tune, because the reality is we've been automating systems for a very long time.
Forever.
Generative AI is about automating steps in a way that is efficient and that can be replicated over and over.
Yes, it follows a rule
with relative ease. And algorithmic programming, algorithmic functions are about. It's kind of like a game. Inputting something, goes through a series of functions, and it outputs something else.
Yep.
It eliminates human error, and it does it at a lightning speed that a human being can never do it. So it's really it's an efficiency game, right?
Absolutely.
But the truth of the matter is we've been playing this efficiency game in systems since forever. The printing press is an example of that. Like we've always been trying to use machines to improve quality and create speed and create efficiency. Now we're just using another form of that.
Absolutely.
In modern era. So, I mean, I'm all for it. In fact, I'm doing a video series on, I'm about to do a video series on that. So I shoot Tuesday. Wish me luck. God bless. All right, look, y'all know what it is. I want to thank my illustrious guests for being on this podcast, Amber and Dani, for telling me about your lives and for us to really have a conversation about Christianity, which I think is the first for the podcast. We really kind of dug in there. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
For all that you do in music, in education, and in organizing. And this is the Gender Amplified podcast. You know where to find us, genderamplified.org. We are an organization that supports the advancement of women in music production, audio engineering, and gender expansive producers in audio engineering and music production. You can find us at genderamplify.org. And this is Sticky. This is our podcast. Until next time.
Coming in here, the energy was already just open.
Even when we had the intro session, I was like, oh, it's going to be a fun day because you're around like-minded individuals who all want to create something good, something groovy.
I'm glad you're at the Control Room series and apply it to our applications.
We started just like listening to music that everyone kind of put out or has worked on so that you kind of get a vibe of like who you're working with and understanding, okay, do we want to start something from scratch? Someone have a beat or a project that we kind of want to build on.
I think y'all voices are really complementing each other.
Yeah.
You always want to have a producer in the room, a songwriter, a top liner, someone who does beat making. We also want to encourage other people to test out new roles that they haven't necessarily been given the opportunity to play really in a studio.
I felt like I was in Willy Wonka's factory this weekend, like being able to touch vintage gear that still works, that still sounds crazy.
The process becomes a lot easier when you're pooling resources, when we have someone like Mo who we can come reach out to for the technical points. And then we have Jewel in there who's, teaching us about the voice compression and different plugins that we can use.
Everything here is so structured. Everything here is like we feel safe.
I don't know, being here has been a breath of fresh air.